The life insurance industry just got a wake-up call, and it came from the most unexpected generation yet. Gen Z isn't buying what their parents bought, and the entire industry is scrambling to keep up. Let's be honest. When you hear life insurance, you probably picture a somber conversation with a guy in a bad tie telling you to think about your family after you're gone. But Gen Z looked at that pitch and said, I'm 23, I don't have kids, and I need help now. That shift alone is rewriting a 100-year-old playbook. Here's the catalyst. This generation entered adulthood during a perfect storm of COVID, inflation, and a job market that looked like a roller coaster designed by someone who hates people. When economic instability becomes your baseline, you stop planning for distant hypotheticals and start building armor for today. Think of it this way, traditional life insurance was always sold like a spare tire, something you hoped you'd never need but threw in the trunk just in case. Gen Z looked at that spare tire and said, what if this thing could also be a GPS, a savings account, and an emergency fund? That's not a consumer being difficult, that's a consumer being smart. The irony is almost poetic. The generation most associated with avocado toast and skipping adulting is actually the most financially strategic generation in recent memory. They're delaying marriage, delaying homeownership, and delaying parenthood, not because they're irresponsible, but because the economics of those milestones have become genuinely brutal. So the old triggers are gone. The industry used to wait for the wedding ring or the mortgage signing to swoop in with a policy, but Gen Z moved the goalposts entirely. Now, the pitch has to be about cash value, accumulation, living benefit riders, and flexibility, not funeral costs and grieving spouses. And here's where it gets fascinating. 42% of Gen Z adults already own a life insurance policy, which is honestly higher than most people assume. But nearly half of them acknowledge they're still underinsured, which means the awareness is there, the follow-through just needs a push. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room price. The number one reason young people give for not buying life insurance is cost. But studies consistently show they overestimate premiums by a staggering margin. A healthy 25-year-old can lock in a solid term policy for roughly the price of 2 streaming subscriptions. But the myth of the expensive policy dies hard. Historically, every generation reshapes financial products to match their reality, and life insurance is no different. The boomers made whole life insurance a wealth-building staple. Millennials started asking about term, and now Gen Z is stress testing every product feature, like they're reading the patch notes before downloading a game. The pattern of generational reinvention is as old as money itself. Here's the community consensus forming in real time on Reddit threads, TikTok finance channels, and Discord servers. Life insurance isn't a death product anymore, it's a living product. Influencers with hundreds of thousands of followers are breaking down indexed universal life policies between sponsored segments. And that is genuinely something no actuary in 1985 could have predicted. Let's kill a misconception right now. Permanent life insurance is not just for rich people hiding money, and term life insurance is not a scam just because it expires. Every product has a purpose, and the mistake is forcing the wrong tool into the wrong financial situation. Gen Z, to their credit, is actually doing the homework to figure out which one fits. The practical lesson history keeps teaching us is this: buy protection when you're young and healthy, because the premiums are locked in and the underwriting is kind. Waiting until you need it is like buying flood insurance while watching the water rise, technically possible, but wildly more expensive, and potentially too late. The strategy here isn't complicated, but it requires discipline over drama. Size your coverage to your actual needs, not your fears or your ego, and build a policy structure that gives you optionality, because optionality is the one thing this generation values above almost everything else. At the end of the day, life insurance done right isn't about betting on death, it's about engineering financial resilience for whatever life actually throws at you. Gen Z figured that out before most of the industry did, and that's either humbling or hilarious, depending on how long you've been selling whole life policies. Whether the market shifts further or the industry adapts quickly, the prepared consumer always wins. And preparation starts with one honest conversation about where you actually stand. Check out our links in the description below. We can help you get started, whether it's real estate investing, home contracting work, or finding the right lenders for your next move.